Hello, everybody. My name is Javon Demi. Thanks for letting me in until this course. I really do appreciate it. So today I'm going to talk about a nonprofit. A nonprofit who's trying to raise money for extremely marginalized little girls who's been broken generationally. This nonprofit seeks to raise money for a safe house where these young girls can go and have a place to release, relax, and relate. And this program is culturally embraced and is tailored to their realities. So it's similar to something like a rehab. Okay? How many of you are tired of the same systematic structures that affects our mental ability to move the whole world forward again? Well, I'm going to talk about that today, and I would like for you to be a part of this conversation as we have uncomfortable conversations because it is uncomfortable. So I'm going to need for you to get uncomfortable so that we can move forward and make effective solutions in how to deal with race in America. But first, we're going to start with our girls because our girls are the most vulnerable, and we need you. So let's get it started. A little background about myself is I'm from Chicago. I grew up in contaminated areas that where I had to, struggle and come out of my environment. My environment was rough, my environment was neglected, and my environment was historically forgotten. And it was historically designed for that way. So ultimately what I'm saying is my life was designed for defeat. And I had to make it out of those defeats and make it past everything that was negative towards me. I had to make it out. I had to make it out every day violence, everyday poverty, and every day of dealing with a bullying that comes with along with living in those contaminated neighborhoods. It's bad. And each generation is affected more because it seems as if it's getting worse. So today we're going to talk about the need in providing effective solutions for our girls who's having kids in these environments, who the society forgot about black women. So I'm a mother of three. And we're going to talk about our girls and how we can help our young girls who's lashing out in our community right here in Madison. Their psychological responses is lashing out and is so aggressive that, now Madison really don't know what to do with these little girls right now. But see, I understand what they're going through and I understand what they're feeling because what I'm talking about is generational madness of a society that abused and misused our group of people because we are descendants of slaves. You have to remember. So get uncomfortable because I'm gonna need for you to hear me because we all have to be a part of this solution. These young girls that I represent have been underserved, undervalued. And their tears, they're imploding out. They're imploding out. They're imploding out into our streets. They're imploding out into our schools. They're imploding out in our communities. This is the need. And we have to be effectively responsible for these little girls crying out. And if I have to be the leader in starting this race for these girls, I will, because no better person can be able to explain to the world about what these little girls' feelings and the psychological damages that's being done every day when we neglect their spirit. So what we have designed in Madison is a program to pull these little girls out of their environments from generational neglect and abuse intermingled with systematic barriers. We're going to pull the little girls out the house and give them a place to be for 6 to 7 weeks so we can retrain their brain and provide a sense of relief first to get them to calm down, to get them to know that somebody cares. This program that I'm talking about, the need is very intense. So I'm going to try to calm down as I try to make it through to explain the dysregulation that these young people feel. We have to work with the brain to be able to move again. because these young girls are having circuit breakdowns that's causing an imbalance in their prefrontal cortex. So the safe house is going to work in that, in a culturally embraced manner. We're going to provide one-on-one emotional support to introduce them to conversations of what they're feeling and what they're going through, so they will be able to respond healthy in the contaminated environments and the behaviors that's in their communities. Okay? We're going to change the whole scope of their reality by providing meditation with food. We're going to do exercise. We're going to retrain the negativity out of these girls. We're going to retrain the hurt. We're going to give them life and long-term plans so they can establish and escape that world in these environments of where society have left us neglected and abused. And as Black women, we have children, and we pass on these same social mentalities to our kids, knowing that we desensitize ourselves to this environment and we're not living, we just existing. I'm going to say it again. We're not living, we just existing. In this safe house, I visualize a place where we can also go in and help our parents with their temperament, angerment problems that's never been addressed generationally. These young girls face a lot of mental pain going into these communities, so we have to be able to provide them a future plan so they will be able to respond healthy in going into these environments. So less violence in school, less violence in their household, less violence in their community. We have to retrain their brain retrain their brain so they can positively deal with the self-resolution within themselves as we build self-esteem. We're going to build self-esteem, culture self-esteem. This is what we have to do. We have to build culture self-esteem, because self-hatred goes deep in this historic conversation that we're having today about neglect and how we as a society never really dealt with what's effectively harming the Black community. We never got help from slavery to deal with our psychological issues and psychological damage that's plagued our community generationally. So these behavior keeps getting passed down and passed down. So we're going to interrupt that pattern. We're going to interrupt that pattern in a way that these young girls can respond to, in a way that they can know what I'm talking about, as I put together this design that's tailored for their reality in their world and what they go through every day of being neglected, even on down to the conversations that they have amongst their peers, even their conversation they have amongst their teachers. They are still being neglected. So we visualize a place where these young girls can come in and respond with self-esteem, with love, so they begin to prepare themselves for the future, so that they can think of themselves as holistic approach in getting out of poverty and the poverty mindset and what that brings. Because in order for you to be in poverty, you got to have a mentality that poverty brings. We visualize today that we're going to get those girls out of those mentalities. That is the whole goal, to show new girls and one-on-one intense, walk them through of how to be better and love yourself in this society, because baby girl, you count, I count. And today we're going to hold this speech showing other people to get them to let you know that you count. So I'm dependent on you. So what I'm saying is we're going to work on their physical, economic, behavioral, emotional well-being. This is our mission. I'm going to say it again. Their physical, economics, behavior, and emotional well-being. We're going to provide services for generational neglect. So why don't you come on, people, stand up, be a part of what I'm trying to do, because this is an innovative approach in dealing with mental health, because it's not traditionally attached to a systematic way of dealing with mental health. This is tailoring mental health for you. So the steps that I need for you to take, people, just get involved in the conversation that we're having today. The second thing that you can do is donate. Donate so we can get this program off the ground. Provide a donation. Any questions? If not, Let's stand up and make change that we want to see. I'm Javon, self-proclaimed inner city psychology, and I'm ready to here to make a change. Thank you.